I asked the City College president, Esther Fike, and Jim Howard, the COO, would you think you can get us some students to just come in and, want to talk to Diane Tice, who is the co-founder of the Pacific Institute with Lou Tice? And he said yes. And so we have, I think, 8 students. Am I right? So first thing I'm going to do is ask Diane to come up with me on stage. And then I'm going to have the students come up and have a seat with her. And the idea is, could I get the students to come up? And the idea is, I want you to tell Diane your thoughts on your training, the Pacific Institute, your thoughts on City College. Then what we're going to do, I'm going to have each one do that, and then when we finish, we're going to open it up to the audience. Because you know what you're going to see, folks? Your students. These are your students here. You're going to see the resemblance and the same heart and soul of the students you serve, changing lives. You guys aren't nervous, are you? Remember I told you we're going to have fun, right? Okay. All right. Now, City College has their own cheering squad here, so we're good. And you know your school was the host school this year for this best practices. These folks are from all over the country. We even have people from Mexico, from Canada, that are college people, teachers of the course that you went through at the Pacific Institute. They're presidents, school owners, vice presidents, deans, and we serve about 125,000 students like you every year with our materials and our training, but these folks are the ones who bring it to life. And you probably have some of your teachers in the room here as well. So I'm going to stop. So could we start with you? And just, your name, what you do now, when you graduated, and anything you want to say about City College and the Pacific Institute.
Okay. My name is Timothy Witherspoon. I'm in the major of business. I took the class actually in 2009, and I am 2 classes out of receiving my bachelor's. And I'm also employee of City College. I'm a master representative. You said the word of changing lives. That's what I do every single day. We change lives. The class was beautiful. My professor is actually Dr. Radigan, which is here.
Stand up, stand up.
And the one thing that I inhabit the most from the class was the scotomas, the blind spots, and not reaching your full potential. I believe that there's no heights or there's no ground that you can't reach. I mean, there's no sky that you can't reach. And I believe that I have a great future and a bright future due to this class. Because when I came in, I was in a bad situation where I had to make certain decisions. And this class actually built me up to be a better person in the business world as well as in my family. So I want to thank you for creating this class. It made me a better businessman as well as a family man with my family. And I'm applying this to my life every single day. And I want to thank my City College staff and my family for having me to be a part of this family. It is a great family. It's a great organization to be a part of. And I thank you very much.
Good job, good job. Very good. Good job.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karen Major. My background started out, I came from a broken home, and when I was very young, but my mother struggled through and she sent us all to college. Well, of course, I didn't know what I wanted to do in those days, and I went to college for a while, and then I said, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Well, I got married, and I had a child, and I stayed home for a while. So my marriage went bad, and I ended up getting divorced, so I started late in life working. And I found myself being 32, 33 years old and a teller. I said, well, I like the banking industry, so let me continue banking. And I became a member service representative, call agent, and then a loan officer. My next big job would have been being a branch manager. Well, I saw myself training everyone and teaching everyone. They were all surpassing me. And I was wondering, what is it that I'm doing wrong? And I didn't have a degree. And that was like my problem, or one of the problems I think that caused that. So I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try something else. I'll go with the county. And I got with the county. And I worked with them for a while, and I kept getting, I don't know if you all know about Dade County, they're going through a lot of budget cuts, and I was bumped down and all those things. So I said, I'm going back to school, and I went to City College. And on a whim, and everybody was very welcoming, and I loved the administrators, the teachers, everyone was just wonderful. And my first 2 or 3 semesters at City College, I took a personal development class with Dr. Lynn Kendricks. She was a wonderful teacher. She's one of the most favorite teachers in the college, in the university. And she started off with talking about scotomas. She started out talking about positive talking. And I'm like, what is this going to, what am I going to learn from this? My life is going pretty good. And I noticed, just listening, doing some of the activities. When you mentioned earlier today, Sarah, about the F's, how many F's, when I did that, that was so interesting because you really can't see everything that's in front of you unless you take the time to actually view it and get some of all the negative stuff out of your life. And that worked for me, and then I started going to class, and I remember her talking about I times V equals R. And, I said, well, okay, so what does the I times V mean? So I read on. It says imagination times vividness means realization. And it was really true. If you can sit back and you have imagination, you can start working towards your goals and, with the things that were, all the different tools that she gave us in class, making goals and, the positive talk to yourself positively. When you hear people being negative, not actually get them out of your life, but avoid those things. And I start seeing myself growing, not just at work and in school, but at home. And the school even became much more easier for me. So I used those things, and I graduated last June with an AA in accounting. And I will be graduating December with a bachelor's in accounting. And at the age that I am, I'm very proud and very happy because I have a grandchild. My son is 26 years old. He's the only child I've had. And he just, he got married and had a baby. And I'm saying to myself, wow, my son's finished college, and now I'm going to finally finish college. And to me, it is for satisfaction, but it also is so I can be a better person and make more money. And, of course, money is always a good issue. But it actually the class was like the most excellent class I could have taken because through this class, I've been able to excel through other classes. If anyone tells me anything negative and, oh, you should stop going to school, you should do this, you should do that, I just think about it. I said, well, you know what? I said, I've already made my goals. I have my goals, and I'm meeting them. And I plan to continue to do that. And I thank you all. I thank your husband. I thank everyone that was involved in making this program being the success that it is today. And I thank you very much for your time.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vanessa Rodriguez. I'm a student at the Miami campus of City College. I'm going to start today telling you a little bit about myself. I'm a proud single mother of 3 beautiful children. The beginning of my senior year, I became pregnant with my first, and I was determined to graduate and not become another teenage statistic and drop out. And so after attending 4 different schools, 11 months later, I finally graduated in August of 2000. I received my certification as a file clerk soon thereafter, and in 2006, I also became certified as a medical biller and coder. But I haven't been able to work in the field because of social setbacks, personal setbacks, excuses with the kids, and lack of experience. So I decided to, start at City College to get my degree, and stepping out of my comfort zone has always been an issue. Still to this day, I'm very intimidated and reserved in any social setting, but especially when it comes to meeting new people or speaking in front of a group, much like today. So if you see that I'm cracking up a little, you guys know. So in October of last year, I began my first semester at City College for my associate's in science degree and medical office administration. When I saw I had to take a personal development class, I figured I was sure, I could benefit from it, and it'd be an easy A, an easy class, elective. What I didn't know was that I would learn so much, and that this course has actually helped me to grow as a person and benefited me in everyday life. Thought Patterns for a Successful Career. This is the book, and I keep it with me in my car all the time. Anytime I feel anxious or negative, anyway, I grab the book and I read from it, because it really puts you in the right mindset. It's full of powerful material that, if you really, really, really get into it and focus on what you're reading, you will understand it. Because if you just, skim through it, it all sounds like mumbo jumbo, everything sounds the same. But you really, really, really have to practice it and, take it all in for it to work for you. If taking it all in, it teaches us to be better thinkers, period. How to really positive self-talk, how to block out other people's negative vibes and comments. And, it opened my eyes to things that I wasn't even aware of before. I always knew that I had, social setbacks, and I was inhibited, and I didn't like meeting new people, but I really didn't know how to change it. So this book definitely did that for me. And one of my favorite units of the book is putting life on a want to. Because just because, we have to cook, we have to go do laundry, we have to do this, I need to go to school, I need to do this, all that is just like negative. If you say, I want to get this done, I want to do this, I want to do that, it just makes you feel better about yourself and about achieving it. If you feel like it's something that you have to do, it's a necessity, but now you really don't want to. But once you say, I want to do this, I want to finish it, completely changes your outlook. So that's one of the things I really picked up from this book and from this course. So we'll be less stressed, happier people overall if we really, take into account everything that this course and this book teaches. I can honestly say that if I hadn't learned to conquer and guide my thoughts and had a positive experience with this course, I would not be standing here today. And I'm very grateful to City College and the Pacific Institute for pushing me out of my comfort zone and teaching me I can achieve anything I put my mind to. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Wanda McDaniel, and a little bit about myself. Well, I was born in Miami, and I grew up on the beach with my mom and my dad. It was a happy family. My dad was a good role model, my mom, and I have a brother, but we didn't find out he was mentally disabled until he was like 8. So basically I was like the oldest and the youngest, and looking out for my brother and stuff like that. So everything was good. And then it wasn't until later when my mom and my dad broke up, then my mom, I guess it really affected her, but when you're young, you really don't see those things. So eventually my mom moved south, and around when I got like 15, my mom made like a bad decision where she chose a man over her child, and she moved way like across the country to California and left me, which was a turning point in my life, because from that point I went to foster care. Sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Just thinking about it. But from that point, I was determined to not be like her. So, hope is what kept me going. And as I got older, I was looking for that love also. So I ended up having a daughter with someone that I thought, was going to give me that love that I needed. And I still had a positive attitude, but at the same time, I figured, I had some bumps in the ground, that I needed to move past. But I kept on going, working. But at the time, I couldn't really go to school because I needed to work to, to live and to make, support my child and stuff. But as I got pregnant with my second child around like 2009, where I met this other guy, which was a wonderful guy. And basically, I said, you know what? I didn't get a chance to go to school, but I have a chance now, and I'm going to go to school so I can, be a good role model for my child. So I ended up going to school. I decided to go to City College because I was at a school before, and that school was kind of like, I had like a preceptor that she did something that she wasn't supposed to. So they was like, well, make a long story short, you might not get all your hours that you were supposed to and stuff like that. That's when I was interested in surgical tech. But then I changed my mind, and I had that negative talk, but we'll get there to that. But the thing is, I decided I was going to go to City College. You know what? I had a lot of things, a lot of excuses and stuff like that, but I'm going to do what I need to do for my child. So I enrolled at City College. At first I was kind of, not sure because I was working full-time in taking care of a child, and life was hard at the time. And when I got into school, my first semester, I ended up having a personal development class, and I felt like, I really didn't too much know what the class was about, but once we started getting into it, I was like, well, I don't really think I need this class, because, I know I'm kind of, socially, may have a little messed up or whatever, but I don't think I really need someone to tell me how I'm going to think and stuff like that. But once I started, getting into the class and actually paying attention to it and learning the things, I was like, wow, I actually do that. I actually do say, like the self-talk thing to myself. I say, well, no, you're not going to be able to do that, Wanda, because of this. So, you make excuses and and I was like, gosh, I do that a lot. I tell myself like, let's say, for example, if I say I'm going to take a test, and I was like, damn, you really didn't study that much, so you might get an F. And I'm like, but if I think I'm going to get an A, I should tell myself that I'm going to get an A, and prepare myself, and I'll get an A. But most of the time I would say, nah, it's not going to happen, So after a while, I started realizing that my self-talk was what was keeping me back from a lot of things. And I started doing the positive self-talk as throughout life because, like I said, it was hard for me. And I would stay up 3 o'clock in the morning because, like, you know what? One part of me say, you're not going to be able to do it. But I say, you know what? Self-talk. You're going to do it. You're going to graduate. You're going to get your degree. You're going to do what you need to do. And you're going to walk across that stage, and your kids are going to see you. And so eventually, I did graduate from City College. I got my degree in private investigation associates. I'm currently working there now. I had twins, a boy and a girl, which is 1 year old now, and it meant a whole lot to me for them to see me walk across the stage. Sorry. But if it wasn't for that class at the time, it was so hard. And it meant a lot to me, and it really helped me. And I know it benefits a lot of students because a lot of students are just like me, because even when I was in class, there's a lot of students like, man, I'm going through this problem, I'm going through this, I can't do it, and at that time I was already in my 3rd semester. And I would tell them, because based off what I learned, that you can do it, because I stay up 3 o'clock in the morning, plenty of time, studying for a test, determined that, what, I'm going to do this. And I did it, so you can too. So I really thank you.
Wow, how to follow that. Good afternoon, Ms. Tice. My name is Jason Daughrity. I'm a student at the Fort Lauderdale campus, and I had a really unique opportunity in this class to take it from 2 separate facilitators, Dr. Radigan and Dr. White over there, because work schedule changed. I had to change from a night to a day student. And so I saw a lot of people going through this class and seeing what they went through and what they were getting out of it. Now, at the time, I had one of the absolute worst scotomas you could ever deal with, and she's going to remain nameless. But I was going through a pretty difficult part of my life. A little bit about me: I'm prior military. I was in the Navy. I was a medic for the Marines for about 14 years. Served overseas. I know my prior Marine over here. Served overseas, and I thought everything that I needed to know I learned from the military. And if I didn't need to know it, it wasn't issued in my sea bag. So I went to this school. I finally got back into class, and I decided after a break from emergency medicine I was going to get back into it again. So I'm studying to be a paramedic. And I have this naysayer. I have this person that's just, you're never going to amount to anything. You lost all your hair. You're just going to completely, not make anything out of your life. I excised that cancer out of my life and started really paying attention and having a blast in these classes that I was going to, learning all the terminology and the clarification of ideas and principles that have been taught to me a lot while I was in the military, but also things that I applied to my personal life. And I noticed things started coming together for me just a little bit better. I was working as a health inspector for the state of Florida at the time, and that job sucks. Don't let anybody ever tell you that it doesn't. But I started getting into medicine again, and opportunities started opening up for me. I started getting rid of a lot of the scotomas in my life. I started writing down my affirmations, and I tell you, one of the best things that I ever did in that class was when I wrote down things that I've done well in my life. I mean, we all do, things every single day well, things that we have to do, things that we need to do, and hardly ever do we, sit down and actually write down something well that we've done. I wrote this down and I'm like, man, I am awesome. I've got that on my dresser right now. This list of things that I've done well in my life. And I just couldn't believe it. I'm a superhero. Things started going good for me at the school. I became the president of our ambassador club. I became my class leader, got chosen to participate as part of a team for a paramedic competition coming up. And pretty much everybody knows me at the school now. I'm practically staff there by this point. I think you guys should clock me in. I love this class, and I'm going to tell you, one of the things that always stuck with me is watching your husband tell the story about, I think his name was Cliff Young, and he was a man over in Australia who decided he was going to enter in a mega marathon, a 600-mile race from Sydney to Melbourne. And he shows up in galoshes and a bib overalls. And I was like, I grew up around a lot of people that look like that. I see them. He goes, and he is 62 years old. The only way he trained for this race was chasing around pigs and cows on his farm. And then he wins the race because nobody ever told him that he had to stop at night to sleep. Everyone else ran for 18 hours, slept for 6, kept going. Not that man. He drove forward. He didn't have scotomas in his way. He didn't have that locked on, locked out thing going on. And that stuck with me. That really stuck with me. Now I have a much better job. Now I'm participating in the school a lot more. Now I have a great non-scotoma type role in my life. And I really want to appreciate and express my appreciation for your husband, for this class, and everything that he's done for the Pacific Institute.
My name is Jan Rutter. Thank you all so much. Thank you. And I want to thank your husband for this amazing program. And thank you, Dr. Pace. And I can't tell you how excited I was when Donna emailed me and asked me to be a part of this. I graduated from City College in 2008. I went back to school at 40 years old. I had to. I didn't have a college degree, but I had been singing and dancing since I was little, and that's all I had done all of my life. And I really thought I was stupid. And then I had developed a vocal cord disorder, and I couldn't sing anymore after a 30-some year career as a singer. And I thought, I can't do anything else. What am I going to do? So I had to reinvent myself, and I went back to school. I went to City College, and I went into the PI program. It's very exciting. And one of the courses that I took, of course, was in personal development, the thought patterns for success. And I cannot tell you how that made me look back and realize the things that I was doing. The negative self-talk, that's a big thing. Negative self-talk. When I did have the vocal cord disorder start, every day, I'm going to lose my voice. I'm going to lose my voice. I'm not going to be able to sing. I'm going to lose my voice tonight in my show, because I have my own show. I was a singer-impressionist, and I was working on cruise ships and working in Atlantic City, and that's all I was doing. And it was self-fulfilled prophecy. I completely fulfilled that with all of the words I said, and I believed it. And I guess that's the most important thing. There's so many important things that I've learned in this class, but to be careful about what you say and think about what you're thinking about, because usually what you think about is what you say. And I realized how powerful our words are. What you speak about, you can bring about. And my life was a perfect example of that. So in taking this course, I applied it to all the other classes that I was taking, and like you'd stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd go to bed early, and then I'd get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and study. And I learned to say to myself, instead of saying, oh, I have to get up at 3, or I have to get up at 4 and study for this test, I changed it to, I get to get up at 3. I get to get up at 4. And it was easy. When that alarm would go off, I was happy to get up. It just made a big difference. And when you speak it, if you just change that, instead of I have to do this, change it to, like she said, I want to do this, or I get to do that. And it sounds crazy, I know. But if you start trying this, you will be amazed. And I remember Mr. Howard came into our class one day, and he said, have any in the classroom seen the movie The Secret? And I thought, yeah, I've seen that movie. That's a bunch of hogwash, and that's just silly. As Dr. Phil would say, that's just a bunch of gobbledygook. And that's what I thought of it. And then he talked about it with a lot of passion, and I had it on disc, and I went back and I watched it again. Then I watched it one more time, and it was like, aha! This is what they're talking about in class. And everything in the class is got scientific proof to back everything up about what we say, how we think. And when they tested people that would go through their sports routine before they would do it, how their muscles would fire off certain, I don't know what you would call it, you probably know medical terms. The parts of their brain would fire signals to their muscles as if they rehearsed it in their head and their body actually thought they had done it. And just all the things that I got from your class, I was able to, from the class that your husband put together, I was able to apply to my other classes, and I graduated. I made straight A's. I did not make straight A's. I made C's and all of that in junior high school and high school, and I really thought I was stupid. My mother did drop me on my head when I was little, and she told me about that, and I really thought I had brain damage. I did. And that's why, and I thought, as long as I can hooray for Hollywood, that I don't have anything to worry about. And then when I went to college, I was terrified. I'm stupid. What am I going to do? I'm almost 50 years old. And I was absolutely terrified. And this class gave me the courage to do things that I never thought I would be able to do. Excuse me. And I'm still learning that you don't just take the class one time. You keep that book, like you said, keep it with you. I gave my book away for someone to read, and I didn't get it back, and I started falling away. And then thank you so much, Donna, for sending me another one. I started going through the book again, and I listened to the CDs. I can't tell you how many times in the car I've listened to Lou, and I have slept with your husband so many times. I still do. I put those headphones on and I go to sleep listening to him talk to me. And it makes a difference in how my next day starts. And so thank you so much. And City College, thank you, Dr. Pace. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Woo, that was a lot.
Hi everyone, my name is Natasha Darius, and I just want to say thank you to your husband and Dr. Pace and this class. Dr. Radigan remembers I had such an attitude. Okay, when I registered for my classes, it was summer term of 2012, and I looked at my schedule, and I'm like, personal development, I'm grown. I've lived a little bit. I've been through life. I don't look it, but I have. And I'm like, what is this? So I went to actually try to get the class dropped. And it just was not happening. So I was like, all right, I'll embrace it. So I went into class with, my arms crossed in my head. And I was friendly to everybody, and I walked in there, and Dr. Rodriguez started the class, and she ran the video, and Mr. Tice was talking about scotomas. I was like, what is that, a bad itch? And he started explaining it. And I was like, oh, this actually might not be so bad, And basically, to make a long story short, Mrs. Tice, this class was such a blessing to me. One of the things, so many things stick out, but one of the things that really stick out for me is how I write my goals, how you write your goals for the future in the present tense. And I've always been a person who sees myself already there. Dr. Rodriguez knows. And, now I also find out that when you already see yourself there and you write them down, you write down your goals of your future in the present, and you believe that and you embrace it, your peers do too. So as I stand here, I'm a radio personality. Y'all may not know it, but I am. And my peers, anybody that sees me on campus, they know what's up. So, when you believe that, people around you, you keep positive people around you, they believe it too. So I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you to City College. This is I love my City College family. Anybody who's ever come to the Fort Lauderdale campus, Natasha Nicole on WCCR is where it's happening. So, thank you.
Wow. All right. Hello. Sorry, I'm nervous. I'm just going to start with a little bit of what I tried to write. What I tried to write. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. Audrey Hepburn. I remember one day my mom telling me a story. First of all, I came from school learning about scotomas and all of the stuff that I was blinded with. I am Haitian American, so you can tell I've been bombarded with a lot of different stories. And Mr. Tice, he opened my eyes. And my mom, after learning that I could have probably been implanted with different ideologies that really don't face with my goal in life, I went back to my mother, we were having that discussion, and I said, what did you do to me as a young child? And she's like, what do you mean? I said, well, I just came from this program, and it's saying that the way I view myself is because of whoever's raised me and as that child. So what did you guys do to me so that I could know where I need to go from here? So now she explained to me about my birth. I was pronounced dead. I didn't even know this. I was like, what? I was dead? And she says, yeah, the doctor pronounced you dead. But I said, you know what? My first son, there's no way God would have me go 9 months. And he's dying. So the doctor gave her 30 minutes. 30 minutes, I appeared. So I am possible. I'm here. Success. So once I got that story, I started thinking about everything prior to that. And I started realizing the gift that I was given to live, I was destroying it. And the reason being, I was a straight A student in elementary, straight A student in middle school, coming around high school, girls started getting into my head. Yeah, I couldn't figure myself out. I don't know what was right. You start watching the music videos, so you want to be like these guys, because they have. So a lot of that stuff happened, and I allowed it to control me and my actions, not me actually controlling the actions, as Dr. Tice says. So I fast forward to the present moment. Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. I was somebody that a lot of time we think prejudice, prejudging it pertains to a certain group of people. It pertains to everyone, and I was prejudiced. because of the way I was raised. I was always told that you can't do this, so I would always look at the weaker people and think something was wrong with them, and you know, I was a straight A student. So real life started happening, and it let me see it on the side, that look, it's not anyone's fault, it's just personal. You know, the more you think of yourself as this way, there's something that's gonna happen to challenge you, and you just have, if you think you're the best, you're gonna be challenged to be the best. If you think you're a loser, guess what? You'll always be challenged to be a loser. So just be ready. And as I saw Dr. Radigan's name on, I didn't even want to go to City College because my family teaches me that city colleges and private schools, they're no good, they're just taking your money, yada, yada. I said, no. It's all about the students. As long as the students want to be something, I think schools end up, you know, hey, Harvard, it was one guy that decided he wanted to build a school up, and now it's Harvard, you know. So let's do the same thing here, and I stuck it through. My family hates me for it, but I stuck it through. And one of my visions was actually to stand in front and speak to people, and wow. Dr. Tice, he says, believe. And honestly, Dr. Radigan, again, going back to the story, I saw her name and I said, oh, because I listened to Deepak Chopra. And I said, Dr. Radigan, okay, these guys are probably going to do some spiritual stuff, or I don't want to go into spirituality, because, okay. Then they start talking about everything, and he really gives you a mirror view. You know, I had dreads, no offense to anybody, but for me, it wasn't working for me. Because especially as a business, I am a CEO of my own company. I can say that now because of Dr. Tice. And he gave me the strength to know that, hey, if you believe in something, the things that come into your mind, as long as they're positive, you speak them out into existence, they will work what we call magic in the outside world. And I believe in everything that I can do. I now manage a celebrity chef. Ron DePratt, he was on Bravo, he was on Spike TV. We're working on creating a show for the Cooking Channel. And honestly, this is all stuff recently happening because of Dr. Tice, Dr. Radigan, City College, and just believing in the mission. I also represent a recording artist, and the funny thing about the recording artist, the reason I took on the recording artist is because it's hip-hop. And we know hip-hop right now never has a positive image. And the angle I've taken on with this young man is, let's represent nonprofit organizations because they need the facelift. They need people to show them the love, just like Coca-Cola has, just like Pepsi has. Let's go ahead and do something for breast cancer awareness. Let's do something for March of Dimes. These people are just as big as any one of these corporations. So a lot of what I do is about, instead of people just doing things for money, let's do it for the self. Dr. Tice helped me be able to find myself, and all I want to do is help everybody else find themselves. And this program, if you take it serious, it'll seriously help you. And it's seriously helping me to be able to provide for my family, which I wasn't able to do before. And in a Haitian family, if the man can't provide, you're a loser. And I couldn't stand to hear it constantly, so I had to go do something. My son was born. He's only one, but that 1 year, I've done tremendous things just believing. And I thank you and your husband for starting something like that to give somebody like me an opportunity to make a difference in the world and for my people. And I'll leave with a quote, I don't know if I'm gonna say it right, John F. Kennedy, not what I wanna do for myself, but what can I do for everyone else? Thank you.
Good job. Whoa, standing ovation. Look at that. Look at that. Well, what we do now is take questions from the audience. Ask these students some questions. Anything come to you you'd like to ask them? I know they stunned you, didn't they?
Okay.
Do you see your students and these students? Justin?
Hi, everybody. My name is Justin. I'm from Asher College in Sacramento, California. I don't really have a question. I just have a comment. And I want you guys to know, and I'm sure the good folks at City would agree, that not only does this program change your life, but watching you guys go through this, it changes our life too. And it has a big impact. Every year, I've been lucky enough to get to come to these kind of things, and see you guys do this. And just, wow, it knocks my socks off. I get to do career services where I'm from, and I know that each and every one of you has a different story, and I just wanted to say, congratulations.
I would like to piggyback on what you're saying. You stood up and you clapped for us, but it's not us. It's actually you guys. It's the developers who made this vision come true, Mr. Tice, Mrs. Tice, the instructors, the college. It's because of you. So we should be standing up and giving you guys a hand.
All right.
We thank you.
Let's see all the city folks. All the city folks stand up. Let's just get an idea here. What do you think?
Thank you.
Awesome.
Any city folks? Comments, questions, thoughts? Here we go. By the way, while we're going over there, City College is one of the only colleges I know that teaches an accredited degreed course in PI, private investigator. Really cool. And also broadcasting, radio and broadcast, really, you know, cool stuff. Yeah.
Matthew Abraham from City College, Miami. And first thing I want to say is I'm so proud of all of you, but my 3 Miami students, I am extremely proud of you guys.
Stand up, Miami.
You guys freaking rock.
Stand up.
All right?
Where's the Miami students?
Awesome.
There we go.
Those are my Miami students, Karen Major, Vanessa Rodriguez, and Wanda McDaniel, and I am so proud of you guys. You guys did such a wonderful, all of you, you guys did such a wonderful job, and I'm not from education. I'm a clinical psychologist. I've been doing mental health and substance abuse for 14 years. This is my 3rd year as a director of education, and I know that sometimes they're wondering, did we make the right choice? But what I've always said from the very beginning is this is why we do what we do. And, you know, I think it was you. Is your name Jason? Justin, you said non-traditional students, that's a term that I agree with you 100%. Our students are our students. It doesn't matter what they are. They're just like you and me. All of our students, they're just like you and me. We all have different coping skills, and we make different decisions, but they're just like you and me. And one of the things I tell my campus, my staff, my students, if you set the bar up here, I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, your students will meet you right here. If you set the bar right here, I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, they will meet you right here. So every single day I encourage our staff, they encourage me to set the bar right here. And we do that, I tell you what, our students meet that every single time. You know, and that's what's so amazing to see. They don't all have to make straight A's because God knows I didn't. All right? But they succeed. And that's what's so awesome about this. And this program, I also haven't taught this program. I've been through this, but I was telling my department chair here, I can't wait to go back and teach this. You know, because this is my first conference, and I've been with you, Dr. Pace, before and stuff like that. But this was really great to see what all the different schools use this program for. And so many different schools do it differently, but the result is the same. It's a successful student. And you know what? That's gotta make you just light up. And I know that Mr. Tice, Mrs. Tice, he's looking down on us saying, oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. And so I just want to say I'm so extremely proud of you guys, and I thank you so much for this, and obviously City College, you know. Woo!
Dr. Pace, can I say something? Dr. Pace and Mrs. Tyson, sorry. I just want to say one thing. City College, Mrs. Howard, Dr. Abraham, Mr. Cayley, all of our administrators, they are 100% open door policy. They talk to us about this. You can tell that they've all had this class before, that they've studied it, because I remember talking to Mrs. Howard one day in her office, and we were talking, and she said yes, and she, corrected me. I was talking about the I times V equals R, and she was the one that gave me the answer, and I was like, really, you know this? And she's like, yes, everybody knows and has studied this book, Patterns of Development. And I just, I think that it's a good one. I think that that's one thing that City College does do. They also practice what you guys have taught them. And when they talk to us, they're very positive and they're very motivated, and they always have an open door. I can go in that office anytime and I say, can I come in and see you, Mr. Kelly? Can I come and see you, Dr. Abraham? Can I come and see you, Ms. Howard? Yeah, sure, come on in, especially if they're not doing anything. So it is very, very, very good. And we thank you all also for all that you've done for us.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Rodriguez.
Hi, Dr. Rodriguez from City College. Like they've mentioned, I'm one of the instructors there at City College, Fort Lauderdale, who teaches the personal development class. And Matthew, I still teach it every Friday morning, so don't be jealous. And I do love it. Going into the class at the beginning of the term, you just see a difference at the end from the students coming in. I'm sure you guys can agree with me. You just see a huge difference in the way they are coming in to how they leave after 11 weeks. And for the students who are here who represent Fort Lauderdale campus, I just want to say thank you. When I asked you guys to come and speak, you had no hesitation. You were excited about it. You got right in. You were very, energetic about it. And I just really want to say thank you. And you did an awesome, awesome job. Thanks.
I would like to add, for me, normally I would not come up to speak, but because RAS, Reticular Activating System, when she came with it, I said, oh my God, this was in my head. So I have to say yeah. So I had to go with the flow, and that's the free-flowing thing, where, how did you go and speak? I was just being myself, good, and just trying to succeed. So it's, again, Dr. Radigan, you're a great teacher. You teach from the heart, and that's what kind of helped it for me. The students laughed at me when I said I look at trees to relax, and you kept the class going. And it was like, okay. Yeah. But it let me know, okay, we're different. The world is, everybody, all plants, life is just different, and we all fit in some way. But thank you. Thank you, City College, for taking me in as a student, a business student. They tried to change the subject, but I stayed on the course. So thank you, and I respect everything that you guys are doing here, giving us this opportunity to even emancipate.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
You know what impresses me the most is how they know the curriculum so well, and how they articulate it, and how you practice it every day. Let me ask you this. These folks teach this course around the country, around the world. They're administrators. Do you have any messages for them on how they can help their students even get better?
My thing that helped me get through City College not only was the class, but I'm pretty sure all campuses are probably the same, but at our campus, it's the warmth and the teachers also and the directors that, they're so open door, and that at the same time, for me, Miss Marty was like a big thing in my life also, because she, like a role model in my life, sorry, because she was like, if you wasn't in class, she would text you, where you at, why you're not in class, and she would get on you, show you that she actually cared that you came to class.
Is that Elia Martin? Is that what you're talking about? Where is she?
Miss Martin, no, she's not here, she's, but she,
okay,
yes,
okay.
But a lot of the teachers, they would do that,
yes.
And that showed that you actually cared whether I was there or not, because some schools not, some of them, they don't really care if you show up or not, and that was like a main thing too, gosh, you better get to class, where you at, Ms. Marty, whatever your professor was, they're gonna call you, they're gonna text you, they're gonna, you better get to class, or did you, and then they would ask someone that was in class if they, let's say if it was a friend, if they knew you, did you talk to such and such today? Why they ain't here?
Yeah.
Did they need a ride? They could have got a ride with somebody. You know, it's like no excuse. So that also makes students, you know, want to come to class because, you know, the teacher shows and, you know, the directors and everybody show that, you know, they actually care about you as a person than you just being like, you know, a grade or, you know, just a number.
Excellent.
So,
Also, a lot of instructors tend to, and you can probably agree with me on this, there's been many times you've been in a class where you've been taught to, you've been talked to, but you haven't really engaged in the, been engaged in the class. And I tell you, Dr. White and Dr. Radigan, being in both their classes, it was almost just like just a fun time every single time because they were so engaging with the students. Everything was a discussion, and yeah, there was a little, you know, vocabulary test every time, but it was facilitation. It was getting down and hear everybody, you know, look at this card and see, do you see an old woman? Do you see a young woman? And really getting down. It really engaged a lot of the students that would normally sit in there and just, you know, be texting the entire time or be sitting there and have the scotomas up and not be listening to what they need to do. By the end of the class, there was a distinct difference than from the students at the very beginning. The people that were normally recalcitrant and would not participate started engaging more. I got told to shut up many times because and it was just very, it was just a lot of fun. And I did want to not forget you back there, Dr. White. You teach a very excellent class as well. Being in there with you and also being in there with Dr. Radigan and her many different hairstyles. I really loved it a lot.
Yeah. Dr. White, stand up, because you did a great presentation yesterday for us. Yeah. So they need some more lessons from you. Tell them what to do.
I would say, I don't know how the other schools do it, but at City College, personal development is pretty much the first class. And if you apply to your class or your college being the first class, attrition, I mean, we believe that we can make it. And that's the class, that's what the class is teaching us, that we can make it. We're persistent, the affirmations, not allowing things to block us from coming to school. So it keeps the student in school. So if you apply to as actually one of the first classes that you teach and the student gets into, it benefits you more having that class.
How do you handle it when just about every one of you said when you first heard you had to take this course that you push back like, oh, come on, what is this, touchy-feely, huggy, what is this, right?
Like she said, I'm grown.
Yeah, I'm already grown. I don't need. You know, we teach this to CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. We teach it to presidents of countries and so forth. But I just want to hear how long did it take you before you saw it or you said, I'm in?
I know for me, because I was still, you know, like right here,
Yeah.
I'd say about maybe the third weekend.
Third week?
Yes.
We were talking, I remember one time at Virginia College, we were talking that it probably took to unit 3 or 5 before. Is that what some of you are finding? Yeah. But you got to put up with that pain to get them there, right? What's the word I want? Getting them to persist, to hang in there, and so forth. But any other thoughts on? Go ahead.
About the third weekend, I would say one thing about this class, and he made a very good point. It's very important for it to be the first class of that first quarter.
I think most of you do that, right? First class they take?
Because it sets the tone for everything else afterwards.
It's like building a house, right? With a foundation.
Absolutely. It's a great foundation.
Yeah.
And not only does it prepare you like professionally, but it also forces you to look at some personal things in your own life. I know for me, it forced me to look at some things that I didn't even want to admit to myself by myself.
Yes.
So that's one of the things I could really appreciate about this course.
Excellent. Any other lessons for us?
Yeah, to kind of piggyback, I think the teachers treat it, because I think Dr. Radigan is like a psychology type of individual. I think it is a psychology class in its essence, because if you allow the students to speak on behalf of what the issue is, say if you bring a question up, what do you think this means? And we all have been raised to be a certain way to be good. So I think we all know the right and from wrong, and if a teacher allows a student to answer the questions, to answer the problems, the situation, realization starts to happen. With me, the way Dr. Radigan did it, she let everybody have their opinions, and a lot of them were weird, but at the end of the day, she let
that
them
word
have their
weird quite a bit
opinions, you
today.
know, and I think through that, that's what helped everybody else. Like, wow, I think I have a lot of messed up thoughts.
Yeah.
So we all started really connecting. Like, you know what? Don't think. Let's go with this unison. So if you let us kind of say, you facilitate it, and we learn and we teach it to ourselves within the unit, you know, group activities. We learn a lot from each other that way.
You have to discover it and see it yourself,
Yeah.
right? And when you see it through your own eyes, from your backgrounds, and so, that's when you get it.
That's yeah.
that aha moment,
Yeah.
right? So that's where the facilitators cause that to happen. What else? Any more lessons for us?
For me, basically that class, I did take it in my first semester, so that's what helped me, because if I know if I didn't have it, I probably would have said, oh, forget this, I can't do this, it's working full-time, going to school full-time,
Sure.
I have kids, it's too hard, I would have just said, forget all about it. But that gave me, you know, build my self-esteem, build my self-talk, the way I thought about stuff, it made me think more positive, you know, stop saying the negative stuff and push myself, you know, to continue on, because I said, you know what, I know I can do it. And even now, like, I still use it, you know, because you have your bumps and curves in the road, but, you know, you get through it. And even with my kids, because I have 4 now because of my twins, you know, my 4-year-old, sometimes she would say, like, Mommy, I can't do it. And I'm like, don't say that. Yes, you can. If you say it and you believe it, you can do it. And this is what I teach them. So I use what I've learned from my kids. I teach them, you know, to think positive all the time. And whenever I hear them say something negative, I'm like, don't you ever say that, because you can always, anything you put your mind to, you can do it.
Yeah. I don't remember now because after 2 days, but the word was used earlier. You're rewriting your stories, and it's going to affect your children and your children's children. It's just a way of thinking, and we used to think it was just, you know, genetic, you know, the lucky gene club that you were born into, but it's really not. It's the way you think. And City College and all these other colleges allow students to have that knowledge right up front and that awareness, but it's, I read somewhere less than 3% of the population of the world actually knows and applies this stuff. I mean, the 3%ers. So as you pass this on to generation, you're rewriting your whole family tree, your whole family story, changing lives. And that's really what this information does. Yeah, so I just want to let you know you have all of us here too. There's a lot of Pacific Institute people here. Dr. Scott, myself, Mike Seifert, Jamad Canley. So we're all listening, and then you have Mrs. Tice. So keep going.
Well, I wanted to say,
please.
I'm sorry.
I just want to have a comment and a question. And I mean, I love what you guys are saying. This is absolutely fantastic. It's beautiful. It's great. It's like you guys were handpicked just to show us the perfection that the program is. I mean, it's totally cool. My question is that it seemed like many of you took this course early in your academic career. If that's the case, how did it get you through, and specifically, how did it get you through those rough times when things just aren't working the way you want them to work? How did what you learned so long ago get you through and push you through that? That's what I think I would love to know. Thank you.
As far as for me, I live in a part of Broward County that's like, I live in Parkland, and City College is far, and I don't have a vehicle. So I have to catch the bus around, Dr. Radigan knows, I have to catch the bus around like 6 o'clock in the morning, and it never gets there because I guess they assume people from Parkland don't catch the bus, but I do. So I have to wait for the bus. It gets here around 8:30, and I have to go back to the principals around that time, because if I start, oh my gosh, panicking, the type of person that I would be is like, you know what, there's no point. The bus is coming late, I'll turn around, which I used to do. I'll walk into Dr. Radigan's class after the first half of break, and people oh, Dadley, and I wouldn't let that affect my learning, because I say, you know what, I have to be here, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. It would be easier for me to just sit in my bed, look at my son, and then in the future not be able to do for him. So I know one thing Dr. Tice says is what you do now later it will just keep on going. So I have to, school is one of the processes. I have to get up. So I use that process, and don't let what you see in front of you happening dictate that future. Go to school. The bus is not here, wait for it. When it comes, get on. Then when you get off, walk the rest of the way. If they tell you to go, turn around and go. But if they say sit down, have a seat. So I was always defeating myself before, and I don't do that anymore now with the principles.
For your question, for me, because I took that class in 2009, because I'm already graduated and I'm working now at City College. For me, like I said, it benefited me because at that time, it was like right on time because I was going through a whole lot, and that's what kept me focused because it made me change my way of thinking instead of thinking negative. And just like how he said, like sometimes I would be so exhausted from staying up late, you know, studying, taking care of babies, you know, getting up early, sending them to school, stuff like that. Sometimes I will be running late, but I say, you know what, still gonna go. Because, you know, you have a goal that you want to succeed, and you're not going to say, no, I'm going to go back home, because sometimes that's what students do. Like, oh, I'm late. Might as well not go anymore. Might as well go back home and stay home because you're late. I'm like, I don't know. You know what? There's plenty of times where I was late, and then my goal was, you know what? I'm going to start waking up earlier. I'm going to start, it's basically a self-talk. I'm going to start waking up earlier, start doing what I need to do so I can get there on time. That way I won't have everybody looking at me crazy when I walk in the classroom and say, oh, you're late, you are 30 minutes late, you know. So basically it's the self-talk that kept me going, and my goals that I, you know, visualized for myself, the things that I learned, like not letting the sarcomas, all the stuff, everything that I learned in that class was a benefit for me because that's what got me to where I'm at now. Because if I didn't have the class, and honestly, I wouldn't be able to even say if I would have gotten to this point because that was a turning point in my life. And I had a lot of goals for myself. Once after I got that class and I started writing down positive stuff about myself, removing the negatives, not listening to negative stuff that people say, because you're around negative people all the time. Even in the class, there would be students that be like, man, I got to catch the bus, and man, I'm tired. You know, like, I don't want to get on the bus and this, and, you know, I can't come to school tomorrow because I got to go to work. Or, you know, I got to go to work, so I'm going to be too tired, so I'm going to miss class tomorrow. You know, and because of what I learned in class, after my second, third semester, I started telling them the positive stuff, like, you know, you shouldn't do that. You know, if you really want this for yourself, you need to make it here. You know, you need to do this, you need to do that. So honestly, that class did it for me. Like, it helped me to now. And so that's why I was able to do what I need to do. And I'm still reaching for my goals, and still I'm teaching it to my kids, you know. And I'm going back to school in August for my bachelor's in criminal justice. So I'm still striving. You know, the class is a good class.
Go ahead, last comment, go ahead.
Did I hear it right that there's going to be a part 2?
Oh, we have.
There is a part 2?
We have a middle, and we have a one called Gainful Employment, where it helps you get jobs and, you know, your thinking and all that. Yes.
That's wonderful. I took the class at the end of my 2 years, and I remember as I took it, I thought, oh, I wish I had taken this at the beginning. If I had known then what I know now, because I was so afraid. And that's one of the first things you learn is it's okay to be afraid. It's not okay to stay afraid.
Wow.
And I wish that I had learned that.
Sounds like Lou.
In the beginning. Well, yeah. That's what he said.
Yeah, I know.
And I was just thinking it would be wonderful to take the class at the beginning and then have part 2 to take just before you graduate. So
okay.
Like bookend it.
You hear that, City?
And I'll come back and take that. I want to come back and take part 2 if you do it. I want to come back and take part 2.
I wanted to try to answer your question when you said, how do we work with it in our life? To me, how it's done is that when they first start, the class is broken down with the chapters. Each chapter gets like a little step. And it starts you out like the scotomas. They tell you about your brain, and it even talks about your subconscious thoughts that you don't even think that you're doing, but you're actually doing it. And then it goes into the affirmations. It goes into, I mean, and then and the goals, and you start writing your goals down. You start with the short-term goals, and once you see yourself doing your short-term goals, you do your long-term, your middle goal, or like a 4-year, or 3-year, and then you go on and so forth. So you see yourself going through it, but the meat of it is, to me, how I would apply it every day is it develops you. You grow, you mature. From this, it's like things that you were doing that you really didn't see yourself doing subconsciously. It brings that to the forefront of your mind, and you realize that, you know what, I'm being really immature about this. It does. That's why, it seems like it's kind of hard, like we're all saying the same thing over and over again, but really that's what it is. It's like each time you come up with a problem, you have to go to the core of it, find out what is it, the problem that you're dealing with, and then you try to see how you can deal around it, or you can deal with it, and then make goals on it, because you can't, when you have death, I've had 3 deaths in my family since I've been in college. When they were very close, it was a stepmother, it was a mother-in-law, and then it was a cousin. So the thing about it is, it's sometimes hard to go to school when you have these deaths going on. It's very frustrating, it's very hurtful, but you say to yourself, yes, you're positive thinking. My mother-in-law would have wanted me to finish this, such and such and such. It's just something that's ongoing, like most things that are positive, and you just try to look at the positive point of it, and because there's so many things in the book that you can go back and you can look at, but the things that stand out to you and that were most important to help you change, I continue to use those things to deal with life each day. Even a problem at work that you might be having, it helps you to grow up and mature in ways that you might not have even thought that you needed change in.
Ed, did you have a question?
Yeah, well, I have more of an observation than a question. Thank you all for coming in today and sharing your stories with us. But most of all, I've heard several of you, when you came in, say you were stepping out of your comfort zone, and getting up in front of people was really terrifying for you. And now I'm sitting here watching you reach for the microphone and ask for it to be passed to you. So thank you for not only sharing your stories with us, but showing us that it works right in front of our eyes. That's just absolutely amazing to me.
Yeah.
So thank you all very, very much.
I wanted to add one thing.
Sure.
If this could be more mainstream for school-age children, like if they could take a course like this in elementary, 5th grade, or middle school,
We've been
middle
talking
school,
about, yeah.
Yeah, it would definitely change things, completely in society. It's because I feel cheated that I didn't have this in high school. If I would have had this, I'd lost 14 years, making babies and cleaning houses, and I should have been doing something with myself.
We got to get better. So we got to get better.
Definitely something needs to be done to teach children all these, skills.
I'm going to turn over to Mrs. Tice.
We do have a teacher education program, and then for grade school, the lesson plans for the teachers, and we're doing a cartoon for the preschoolers. We do on our retail website do have support for parents to be able to implement it with their children. So there's some other useful tools that we try to reach all grade levels, and it's a continuous upward. But yes, we do.
Any comments for these students? Diane, anything you want to tell them?
Well, I'd just like to say we're so often like Santa Claus, who leaves presents under the tree and goes away and never gets to watch people open them and see the joy on their face and see them play with the toys or use their computers or whatever. But for me to be able to come and not only see the wonderful instructors that have helped facilitate this program, but to see the students and see the results, because it's changing for the rest of your life, it really makes me proud. And so it's been my privilege to come and listen to you, and I hope to keep up with all your good successes in the future. You're all going to make it. That's good. You have already.
Thank you. Nice going. City, you do a great job. I need to tell you that my oldest grandson is a student at City College, Hollywood, taking the first responder, I think that's what it's called, first responder course. And Sharon and I, my wife and I, are just amazed at this kid, how he's grown and how he went to college up in Orlando for a while. But the personal attention and everything that's given by City College. So we personally thank you too for all your good work, because he's doing really well, and he loves going on those, he gets to ride with the, what is it? Right, oh my God, 12-hour days, and he's the rookie, and they send him, and he comes home and he sits with me and he says, Pop, I gotta tell you what I did today. And he would tell me the whole story, but he found it difficult, anatomy and physiology. And so all I said to him was, Nick, if you don't learn that, you could kill somebody one day. And the look on his face, you know, so kids getting 89s, 90s, whatever it takes, you know. But that's true, isn't it? He has to know these things. So my wife and I, Sharon, personally thank City for all that you're even doing for my grandson, Nicholas. Final comments. You guys stole the show again. So let's give them another round of applause. Yeah.